The era of exciting sports has come to an end. Now we'll have to resign ourselves to dull sports. No one's ever come out and actually said anything, but I strongly suspect it was exciting baseball that killed Konami's exciting brand. There's still some Konami sports games coming up on the Famicom Disk System. They're just not exciting. So something happened where they decided to get away from that label, and exciting baseball being a train wreck is the most likely explanation I can come up with. Exciting soccer, on the other hand, well, it's the first game in the Pro Evolution Soccer series. Nah, not really. This isn't even Konami's first soccer game. That was the creatively titled Konami's Soccer, and it doesn't even remotely resemble exciting soccer. Sometimes Konami just goes back to an idea multiple times until they find a way to make it stick. In exciting soccer, your goal is to pick out a club, and then guide them to the league championship. There are 6 clubs, and they all have different stats. They're rated on kicking, running, dribbling, defense, and luck, and these can be as high as 100. You can also rename the team, although every team has a default name that's used when you play against them. Once you've picked out a team, you're thrown right into the game, where you can play a 2-player match, play a league game, or play against one of your friends' teams. Exciting Soccer has a feature carried forward from Exciting Baseball, where players can load up a team from another copy of Exciting Soccer. So you can build up your team, and then bring it to a friend's house. If you select League, then you'll see the chart of the current standings, and your team will play a match against a randomly selected opponent. You'll note that you haven't seen any difficulty settings, and that's because Exciting Soccer has progressive difficulty. The first team that you play against won't even shoot at the goal. Seriously, when I reached the second half and I was so far ahead, I kept putting the controller down just to give the computer a chance, and it kept bouncing the ball around randomly. It had me pretty nervous that the AI was a dummy, and I was really worried in the second match when I scored a goal in the first 2 minutes. But then in that second match, the opposing team suddenly got a brain, or at least got a lot more aggressive, and I started to have to put in some work for my defense. So when you're watching my footage, be aware that the green team are idiots who can't do anything, and the gray team are the ones who are actually trying to play sometimes. On the pitch, if you have control of the ball, then A will shoot or do a big kick downfield, while B will pass to another player. The player that you're controlling has the arrow below them, and another player on the screen will have a triangle flashing below them. The triangle is your target for passing, so you can't really try to pass up the field to a player who's not on screen. If you do try this, you'll find yourself passing it backwards a lot. If you don't have control over the ball, then you can hit A to do a slide kick into another player, or B to rotate through the player you're controlling on the screen. You're always directly controlling the goalie even when they're not visible, so there's a good chance when the ball is approaching your goal that the goalie will be stuck off to one side. With the goalie, you can hit A to dive at the ball, and that's something that's context sensitive and will only happen if you're close to it. After the match, you have the ability to upgrade your team, though honestly, these upgrades don't really have an effect. As I mentioned, the stats max out at 100. For my first victory, I earned 2 upgrade points. For my second victory, I earned 1. If you have a 100-point scale and you upgrade something by 3 points, the difference is going to be so negligible you won't even notice it. You only play 10 games in the league mode, so you're not earning a whole lot of points this way. On the other hand, after you win the championship, or I guess lose the championship, the league does just start over, so I guess you could play a few hundred matches and build your stats up. One thing working in Exciting Soccer's favor is that it does simulate having 11 players on the field. Of course, it does this by trying to keep the players as separate as possible, and generally you won't see more than 3 players for each team at once. Japanese players aren't big fans of this one. Even with your opponents getting stronger, the AI is known to be pretty weak overall. And you can have a weird situation occur where if you boost your dribbling stat high enough, then you'll run significantly faster when you have possession of the ball. Personally, I found Exciting Soccer to be a decent but not really outstanding soccer game. It's definitely the kind of thing that I would have been happy with in 1988, but not really interested in later on. It is much better than anyone else's action-based soccer games at this point, and it'll be a while before anyone makes something this nice for an 8-bit Nintendo system. but it's always hard to go back to old sports games, especially when there's the new Pro Evolution Soccer sitting right there.